Are you an American? Let me tell you something funny. Years ago, there were no Americans. And what brought about a revolution and a constitution was a king. This king didn't care about the fact that different people saw things differently, which is the basis of democracy, by the way, whether some of you like it or not. He didn't care about anyone suffering. There have always been more suffering people in the world than kings. More people who don't have a lot of money, and more people who live blue-collar or middle-class lives. This king wanted what he wanted, and the concept of the other side did not exist. It was only what he and his supporters wanted. He didn't respect that different people had different needs, different views, and freedoms to think and believe what they wanted. That's the freedoms that America affords you. And if you piss on that, you're not interested in having an America. It was this ugliness and sickness of the soul that brought about a bloody revolution that cost the lives of thousands of patriots. It brought about America, a land where being a king and being angry at someone because they didn't do what you wanted wasn't enough to give power. A place where everyone was considered deserving of a shot at life. After thousands of years of kings and monarchs and Genghis Khan and people like that, kings who screwed up millions of lives, it was time for a society of faith and morals to come up with an America. One of the great boons of the Democratic Republic is that all views get a chance to be dominant. While each election has the potential of blocking out other people's views and needs, the tide shifts back and forth and allows for changes in the American world to make themselves known. The majority rules, and the majority can and should change. What's the point of all this? Well, George Washington, I hope you have some respect for him, in his farewell address emphasized his fear of parties because sooner or later one party would get enough of an advantage to develop a dictatorship. That means that our founding fathers did not want a dictatorship, and they did not want a strong man to be running the country. The freedom to represent yourself without fear of retribution, otherwise known as one man, one vote, is the greatest gift our forefathers gave to us. Because of the mindless violence and stupid schoolyard bully shit that the British pulled on us and should have embarrassed a child, the Founding Fathers worked tirelessly to create an egalitarian society where everyone had a chance to give their opinion. They sweated and they argued and they wrote articles in the newspaper. Now, why would they do that? And if you have any respect for the Founding Fathers and consider their cause noble, how can you look at an angry bully king and not be disgusted? King? No king. Now, I just saw a video where an off-the-scale angry woman said she would not accept a Joe Biden victory because it was full of deceit. She didn't say what the deceit was, and she didn't explain herself. Now, I can't say that Joe Biden is my favorite candidate, but king or freedom? And hey, the freedom part works out to being you. The Founding Fathers and Joe Biden had at least a passing interest in helping you, whoever you are, you who may even love a king. The king, he's the other guy if you haven't figured that out. Now let's be honest. Every 4 years, someone's heart is broken. And as much as I've disliked some presidents, I've never felt they threatened the basis of our democracy. Except Nixon, and now Trump. We've let things swing back and forth partisan-wise because we know deep down that sometime in the future we'll get our shot at bending things in our direction. And I know you, lover of a big, impressive king, you think that as long as he's saying things about issues that make your blood boil, he's on your side. But read your history. I once worked with a man from Haiti, not your garden variety immigrant. His father was very high up in the Haitian government. I mean, about as close to the big dictator of the day, Papa Doc, as you could possibly get. Now, Papa Doc, he was a strong man, angry man, took no shit from anyone. A man you can admire, no wussy believing in anything but his iron fist, not that freedom or empathy crap you hear about from the left. And one day, this man, who was loved by the big strong man Papa Doc, did what all dictators do. He got paranoid. And like all dictators, he decided that The man who had his complete trust up until that point was out to get him. He threatened him, and guess what? This great man ran for the States and ended up being a doorman. That's what's waiting for you. That's what's happened to most of the people who've been close to Trump. Thousands died to end the rule of kings in our country. Thousands died to end the marching fascism that was the Axis powers in World War II, which included Hitler. Biden is not important. Trump is not important. America is important. There cannot be an America without the freedom to vote your own way. There can't be an America without respect for conflicting views. If you reject those things and allow for a king, we are going backwards. And you are destroying America and creating another country that'll have another name. And bringing back a British Empire, so to speak. What you have to realize is that while you may think you're winning now, even a king you support will turn on you eventually. That's the way of kings. They take care of themselves. Do you want to be seen in history as one of the people who destroyed America? Can you live with yourself after all the people who've died to defend the rights of Americans, which is what the democracy is all about? A king and 250 years wasted. Or the greatest country in the world remaining as it started, with full freedoms for everyone. Please think about it. And thank you for listening.